Hey everyone, and welcome to a special edition of our Fundamentals for Success podcast. We're kind of breaking the weekly cadence. I've got some special guests with me today, Emily Crabb and Tatum Crabb. And if you can't tell by the last names, they have some special relation. But I'm going to let them tell you about that. But today we're going to talk about the kids edition, the youth edition of our Fundamentals for Success, and they're going to give some insight from their perspective and and the life that they live, as to how they try and use the fundamentals and their perspective on what's the easiest and the hardest and most important fundamental. And so today I've got Tatum Crabb. Tatum, say hello.
Hello.
So Tatum, tell everyone, kind of your relation to Diamond C. What got you on this podcast today?
What got me on the podcast was my dad.
Your dad? Your dad is who?
The VP of Sales and Marketing, Jacob Crabb.
So Jacob Crabb, if you've watched any kind of videos or any kind of media, you've seen him all over our social and our trailer videos, and he's over sales and marketing, so he's all over the place. And also our other guest here, Emily Crabb. Emily, what's your relation? How did you get on Diamond C's Fundamentals for Success podcast?
My dad.
Your dad, which is who?
The CEO and president, Jeffrey Crabb.
So we got Jacob's oldest daughter and Jeffrey's oldest daughter here in the house to really tell us how their dads and their families break down these fundamentals for success at home, right? So in that thought, do your dads talk about the fundamentals with you? Do they try and use these at home on how to live? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's part of their parenting techniques?
Yep.
Okay, so what do you ever get annoyed? Like, do they just sit here and tell you, be like, you're not speaking straight, Tatum. I need you to call the meeting. Yeah?
No.
Did your dad ever say that?
No.
What does your dad say about the fundamentals?
Well, we have we were going to do almost like family fundamentals that we were going to make. Yeah, but then they were supposed to finish them, and they never finished them. So.
Well, hey, we could call them out. Speak straight, right?
Yeah.
You need those fundamentals to be successful. So there we go. Speaking straight. Fundamental for success. You got to tell him what you need, right?
Okay.
So I'm sure he's going to watch the podcast. So now we've got some accountability to get those family fundamentals done.
Okay.
Right? There's 28 of them. You got to memorize them. There'll be a test tomorrow.
Seriously?
No. No, not really. Okay, so let's talk about fundamentals, right? Let's talk about fundamentals. The first question that I kind of gave y'all to get some thought on was, what do you think of the 28? In your mind, what's the most important fundamental of the 28? Now, we'll operate. Yeah, she nudged Tatum. So, Tatum, you're going to go first this time. Emily, you'll go first on the next question, okay? So, Tatum, in your perspective, no wrong answers. What's the most important fundamental?
To me, the most important fundamental is maintain a positive attitude.
Number one. Out the gate with number one. So why would it be most important to maintain a positive attitude?
Well, negativity will never get you anywhere, and nobody likes a negative Nelly.
Negative Nelly. Do you have any of those in your family? Don't answer the question, okay?
No.
Okay. No, that's a good answer. Right? So nobody likes a negative Nelly, right? At any point, do you ever wake up and some days feel like that you're being a negative Nelly?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why is it, what is it about those days that makes you feel more negative than other days?
I don't really know.
That's a good question, right? If you could answer that question, I think you could go on to write a bunch of books and make a lot of money on how to maintain a positive attitude, because it's one of the biggest struggles we have just in general, right? Is just some days we just wake up and we're in a bad mood, right? We didn't get enough sleep. Our brothers are annoying us. In your case, the sister, right? Just not in the mood today, right? How many times your parents ever say that to you? Emily, I'm not in the mood today. You ever get that?
Sometimes.
Oh yeah, I give that to my kids all the time. Not in the mood today. Maybe we're not maintaining a positive attitude. So the question was, why is it most important? So why what is it about? You said nobody likes a negative Nelly, but why is it crucial to success? Why would being positive be something that would promote success above all other fundamentals?
Because you can't get anything done when you're negative.
How
You're
so?
positive. You can keep going and you can succeed.
Absolutely, right? When you're negative about something, you kind of just get stuck and sit there, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to do it. You don't want to move forward. I like it. All right, so Emily, same question to you. What is the most important fundamental out of all 28?
I think the most important fundamental to me is number 6, check your ego at the door.
Okay, interesting. So correct me if I'm wrong, you're 11 years old, right?
Yes.
So explain to me how an 11-year-old, you're in 5th grade?
Yes.
5th grade, daily life, how do you use checking your ego at the door to be successful?
Well, sometimes I struggle with humility, so I think it's like the most important because when you because like nobody's really any better than anyone else. Everybody's really like the same. So then if everybody's the same, then there's no reason for you to like say that like you're better than anyone else because
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We're all created equal, right? And so if you understand that, then nobody's better than anyone else. Other people work harder and they earn things, right? Based off using the fundamentals and the effort they put in and the time they spent in learning and growing and developing themselves. But at the end of the day, we're all equal and we all have that opportunity to learn and grow. So why do you think that checking your ego is crucial and more important than any other fundamental? What is it about checking your ego that makes it the most important fundamental for success?
I think because if you're like not checking your ego and you think that you're better than other people's, then you're not gonna get anywhere in life. You're just always gonna be like stuck up on yourself.
That's a good answer. Yeah. So think about that, right? Do you have any friends, or don't drop names, okay? Because it's going to go live. But do you know anybody that doesn't check their ego? Or do you know and catch yourself sometimes when you don't check your own ego? What happens?
You don't get anything done.
Yeah.
You don't get anything done, and what happens to the people around you? Or like when one of your friends has a big ego, how do you feel?
You feel like little compared to them. You just feel like this like just little thing.
You feel like they think you're less, right?
Yeah, yes.
And do you want to be around people that make you feel like you're less?
No.
Absolutely not. So I think that's a good point. And, you think about important fundamentals, maintain a positive attitude. Nobody wants to be around a negative Nelly. And if you're negative, you're never going to get anything done because you're just going to see all the problems. You're going to see all the obstacles instead of seeing all the opportunity, right? And then on the same side, checking your ego at the door, if you're somebody that treats everybody else like they're little, well, then you're going to be working on your own a lot.
Yeah.
And have you ever tried to do a group project on your own?
Honestly, yes.
Yeah, I know that happens in 5th grade, right? Especially for some high achievers like you, but it's harder, right? It'd be a lot easier if you had a group to share the work and you think about Diamond C. Could you imagine, even if it's just Jeffrey and Jacob trying to run this whole company on their own?
It's not possible.
It's impossible, right? Or we'd be a lot smaller. We'd just be whatever those two could do, right? So everyone's required to check their ego at the door to bring everyone in to see value and really bring everyone together to play their role and to help. Nobody's bigger than the guy that's welding trailers to engineering and drawing the designs to a salesperson. They all have a crucial role, and if one of them doesn't do their part, well, then the rest of it doesn't matter. So we've all got to check our ego and realize that everybody plays a big part in making this place successful, and the same thing in your life, right?
Yeah.
I love the fact that we have 11 years old and you're saying I lack humility, right? When I was 11, I don't even think I had that word in my vocabulary, humility. In fact, I don't even know if I'll have to look up that definition of humility. So let's move on to the second question. All right. So we talked about importance. Forget about all that. Let's get into your mind. In the life of Tatum Crab, what fundamental is the easiest for you to follow? Were you born to live this fundamental?
Probably celebrate success.
Okay.
I love to be an encourager and encourage other people. And my grand is very good at this fundamental. She's
Absolutely.
never going to pass up the chance to celebrate somebody. And my dad's really good at this, too.
Absolutely. And it's funny you said that because we had your grandma. And tell them who your grandma is. If they
Kim
can't,
Crab.
yeah, if you can't put together the kind of lineage there, but we got Kim Crab, are these two young girls' grandmother, and so you say your grandma is a Celebrate Success #1 fan. We had her on the podcast to talk about Celebrate Success, and so you say that your grandma's really good at it, your dad's really good at it, so it's just in your blood, right? So you enjoy celebrating success and encouraging and talking about all the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's funny that you talk about maintaining a positive attitude is the most important, and you're really good at celebrating success. You think there's any kind of link there?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think the reasoning behind that is?
Because being positive and being, like, celebrating.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, right, like you want to focus on staying a positive attitude. So how do you do that? You look at all the good stuff you've done. You know, look at all the wins and the positive aspects to the successes that the company's had, right? Good answer. Emily, what do you think?
I think my easiest fundamental to follow is to do extraordinary work.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got to check the ego out the door. You do extraordinary work, right? So what is it that in your life or that you've done that makes you say, you know what? The easiest fundamental for me is to sign my name in bold ink, put my stamp on it, and say I did the best that I could.
I think that like I've always just like strived for success in school and like other activities or stuff that I do.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're always pushing for success, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So celebrate success, push for success, right? So you should be just celebrating her all the time, right? You bake her cakes. Yeah, if you don't know this, Tatum is an A1 class baker. And I'm not even joking. Like we sometimes for Diamond C when we're celebrating success, they'll ask Tatum to make some cakes or a cookie cake or cupcake. I mean, you've made a lot of stuff, a lot of things. And for when I first worked here, I was like, "Oh, this is really good. Who made this?" And I'm thinking that we ordered it from a catering company or a chef here in town, and they're like, "Oh, that's Jacob's daughter. Tatum made that." And I was like, I was taken back. I'm not gonna lie, I was taken back. So if you ever need any baking needs, cookies, cakes, this is your input right here. 11-year-old future pastry chef. She's gonna be the cake boss. Yeah, you ever watch that show?
Yes.
Cake boss. That's intense. It's intense. So let's move forward. Okay. So I want to take a break and I want to think about those fundamentals for success. So tell me a little bit about your aspirations. Like you talk about, you really strive for success and that you want to do extraordinary work. You know, what is it that that drives you, that you're striving for? Why is it that you work so hard?
Honestly, I don't really know. And I mean, I don't want this to sound bad, but there's this boy in my class named George Fight.
Yeah.
And he's like really smart. So we've sort of been in a competition like all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it sort of motivates me to beat him.
Your goal right now is to be better than George.
Yes.
Hey.
Sort of.
And do you think George has that same goal?
Yes.
You think George is competitive against you? Yeah. So, what is it about you that you think drives you to really, do such amazing work and learn? I mean, you had to have studied and learned to learn how to bake cakes that well. I mean, at 11 years old, like I'm legitimately impressed. I'm not telling you, it's really good cake. And so, what is it that drove you to learn and develop yourself to be so good at a young age?
Probably studying and all the encouragement from my family.
Absolutely. And you kind of draw like a full circle there on that fundamental for success, right? Your family was celebrating and encouraging you, and that drove you to learn and grow. And then you did more and encouraging, learn and grow, and there's a full circle, right? And then you keep going up and up and up. And the same thing for you. You're competitive, which isn't a bad thing. I'm really competitive as well. But, competitive nature used correctly can drive you forward, right? When you check your ego, right, when you say that's the most important, to really stay humble, but then be competitive, and you can balance those two, sky's the limit, right? Because you're always pushing to better yourself. You're pushing to challenge yourself to the people around you. All good traits, right? As long as you remain humble, as long as you celebrate the success. So let's move into that next step, right? This is when I want you to be honest with me, okay? Which fundamentals do you think are the hardest for you to follow? And let's do something different. You already said you have trouble with humility, right? Because, you work hard. I understand. You work hard. You put everything into it. You know that you did a good job. You got that self-assurance. Sometimes it's tough. It's tough to put all your energy and succeed and then still remain humble and realize that you're still not better than anyone else. That's tough. That's a tough balance. Everyone struggles with it. I struggle with it. So what other fundamental for you, Emily, would you say is the hardest for you to follow?
I think maybe to watch your language.
Okay. You have a bad mouth? You cuss a lot?
No.
No. Okay. Sorry. I'm just checking. You can tell the truth, okay? They're not going to see this.
No, I promise.
Okay, good. I wouldn't guess. So what is it? You're not cussing, right, at 11. That's good. You're on the right track. So what is it you got to watch? What language is it that you watch?
Well, sometimes I feel like I'll just, bottle down my emotions and, not ever let them out until, then, something just, sparks them off, and then it's, this, explosion, and I'll just,
Sure.
talk bad about someone or,
Yeah.
start just, saying mean things to my siblings just because when they didn't really even do anything. It's just because, I've, just had all these emotions from, other different things, kept inside of me.
The awareness for you to even say that is amazing. At 11 years old, to be that aware of your emotions is step number one. So kudos to you. But just so you know, in fairness to her, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
4.
So a total in the household of
7.
7 in the household, 5 children, mom and dad, right?
Yes.
And you're the oldest, right? Is there a bunch of added responsibility for you?
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Hey, I'm the oldest in my family, and I think that the expectations for the oldest are always more. You're the oldest, I'm the oldest. I understand. I sympathize, right? Because you're the first. And then you got to help take care of all the babies, right? Mm-hmm. And you have your little sister is 2, about to turn 3.
Yes, sir.
So I imagine you help take care of her a lot, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My other sister likes to take a lot more care of her than I do.
Okay. So she helps out a lot more. She enjoys it. That's good. It eases the burden on you, right? Do you help take care of your sister?
Yeah.
Keep her in line. And how old is your younger sister?
She's 7.
7, and you're 11. So there's a good little gap there.
Yeah.
She look up to you.
Yes.
She follow you around all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Maintain positive attitude, right?
Yeah.
Watch your language. There you go. So she said that she has trouble watching language, and not a dirty mouth. Just you bottle up emotion, and then you speak in the moment, and you're not really careful with your words, right?
Yes.
So does it happen? Sometimes you wish you could take words back and be like, that's not real. I didn't really mean that. I just was.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All the time. I do that too. You get frustrated with your kids, and you're like, hey, stop. And you get upset, and then you're like, oh, that was an overreaction. You got to go back and apologize and own up to it. But, hey, that's what the fundamental is there for, right? To help bring us and develop and grow. So, Tatum, most difficult fundamental to follow, the one you struggle with the most.
Mine is probably speak straight. I can be a very shy and reserved person.
Okay. So, speak straight means to do what in your mind?
Say what you want to say.
Say what you want to say while watching your language, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to say anything ugly or rude or grotesque, but
What's on your mind?
But to speak up, right? And tell them if you're unhappy or if you do something you don't like. Because what happens if someone does something you don't like and you don't say anything?
Well, you bottle up your emotions.
You bottle up your emotions, and then they're going to do what?
They're going to just, keep doing it.
Keep doing it, right? And happens to you. And, I mean, they may, if you have little brothers, they may still keep doing it even if you tell them you don't like it, right? I see the eye roll there. So why do you think that you have trouble speaking straight? Like, what is it that keeps you from speaking up?
Probably my nerves.
Your nerves? What do you have nerves about? Are you nervous? You don't seem nervous right now. No? See? Yeah, I need you to speak straight. Tell me. What is it? So what is it? I guess let's ask a different question. Who do you feel like you struggle speaking straight with the most? Is it to your sister, to your parents, to your friends?
Mostly just people I don't know.
Gotcha. So if you don't have a relationship with them, you'll just kind of suck it up and move on instead of telling them, hey, yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, and that's important, right? If someone's, cuts in line or, or takes something that's yours or, if they're making your life harder, you got to speak up and really defend yourself. And it's crucial to your success, right? And you got to watch your language and then, check your ego and practice blameless problem solving, all the above. But if you don't speak up, then what's going to happen? Nothing, right? No, or people won't realize they did anything wrong. That ever happened where someone spoke straight to you and then you're like, oh, I didn't realize that I was doing that, or I didn't realize that you didn't like that, or yeah. Right? So it's crucial, right? Sometimes most people have good intentions, but they don't want it. Then they just don't realize that they're being annoying or that you don't like that, or maybe sometimes you're negative Nelly today, just not in the mood, right?
Right.
And so you gotta tell them, hey, I'm working hard to maintain a positive attitude. I need you to leave me alone while I get that back, okay? You ever do that? You ever tell Lyndon, be like, I just need a break?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to ask one more question, wrap this up. I want to know, which fundamental do you think that your dads are the best at? If you had to pick a fundamental, which one do you think that your dad is the best at?
My dad is probably do extraordinary work.
Okay. And why would you guess that one?
I think he just stays very online, and he can get stuff done when he puts his mind to it.
Okay. So he's a hard worker, and he focuses on doing extraordinary work. What about Mr. President, CEO, Jeffrey Crabb? What do you think his best fundamental is?
I haven't really thought about that, but maybe what Tatum said, to do extraordinary work. He likes to set a lot of goals, and then he's really set to achieve them, and if he doesn't, he'll not get upset, but he'll want to push himself forward to do better next time.
Yeah, very driven, right?
Yes.
And I think you actually described a different fundamental, deliver results, where you set goals, track progress, and hold yourself accountable, right? Sounds like, is that what you're basically saying? Yeah.
Yes,
which is all related to doing extraordinary work, of owning your work and holding yourself accountable to do a good job. So on the flip side of that, you know what's coming. Which fundamental are your dads bad at? Moment of honesty. People want to know when they go home at night and it's, they take off their DC logoed shirt and they're sitting on the couch watching TV, eating potato chips.
My dad doesn't do that.
Yeah, I know, right? Her dad does for sure. Yeah. Which fundamental do you think that they need to work on a little bit? They're not gonna see this. They're not gonna watch it. Don't worry about it.
Yes, they are. They probably are.
Just pretend they're not.
I'm not scared. I just don't know.
Okay.
Maybe the communication one.
Communication one.
I don't know what it's called.
Speak straight. Ask to be sure.
Yeah, maybe that one.
Ask to be sure.
Yeah, sometimes maybe he could do better at thinking that other people
Watch your language.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Maybe he could work to ask other people to.
Ask to be sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Ask to be sure. You want to seek understanding, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't know the answer, you ask to make sure that you find out. We talked about last week, I guess it was a couple weeks ago now, we talked about invest your time and how you need to seek wisdom and take the time to seek wisdom. And part of that is, the difference between knowledge and wisdom is application and knowing how to use the knowledge. When you don't ask to be sure, you don't always know how to, you can have all the answers and read the textbook, but if you don't know how to put it into use and ask and learn and find out the information, that's what true wisdom is. And
Right.
So, what about you, Tatum?
Maybe I don't really know.
You don't know? Yeah, your dad's good at everything.
Not necessarily.
So what would you say that your dad does that is probably your biggest annoyance? I'm really digging here. I'm working on it.
And I'm thinking. You go first.
We got some good dads.
I already
We got
went.
some good dads.
What?
Because I know my kids would tell you in a heartbeat. They would be like, oh, this one. And he's only 6, and he would know. He would tell me.
Your 6-year-old knows all the fundamentals.
No, but he would tell him what I do that's annoying to him, 100%.
Probably anytime I do something wrong, it's like right away.
Right
I
away.
have to fix it.
Boom. Accountability.
That's a good thing, though, I guess.
Can be, right? But similar to that, you got to ask to be sure, seek thorough understanding, right? To make sure to understand, what happened. Sometimes not everything's always your fault, right? Sometimes there's uncontrollables, right? So, anyways, very, very PC answers, good answers. You really skated that one. I'm really proud of you. Nobody's going to get in trouble. I was trying to test you here, really kind of get some content for the listeners. So, Tatum, Emily, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I hope y'all had fun. If you could give one piece of advice to our listeners on Fundamentals for Success, leave them with something to take home. What do you got?
Keep your attitude positive.
Keep your attitude positive, a.k.a. fundamental number 1. Emily, piece of advice. Talk to the mic.
Okay.
What do they need to do to be successful? You already kind of said it one way.
Yeah. Which one did I say?
Yeah. It's been a few minutes, right? You were talking about check your ego at the door, right?
Yeah.
So, what's your advice? How do you practice humility? What's the best way they can go and practice humility?
Just to stay humble.
Stay humble.
To think that you're the same as everybody else.
Realize that you're no better than the person next to you, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Tatum, Emily, thank y'all for coming on. I hope y'all enjoyed this week's podcast, our Fundamentals for Success Kids Edition. I mean, you're not really kids. You're like young adults, right? Young adults edition. But I'm going to let you girls take us out.
And we'll see you on the road.
Y'all have a great week.